Hello and welcome back for the Great Ace Attorney, where last time we continued the trial for the third case of the game, and then it concluded with a smoke grenade going off. The whole room went up in smoke. It was all chaos. No one knew what the hell was going on, so we called an emergency recess. I don't know what the hell happened during the smoke grenade, who threw it off, why it was set off. I don't know what the hell happened, but we're here. We're back in the defendant's antechamber to try to calm down and relax and figure out what happened. And then I'm assuming that we're gonna finish up the trial today. So February 18th, 12:52 p.m., the Old Bailey defendant's antechamber. What on earth just happened in there? Mr. Naruhodo, I managed to find out what happened. Mr. Sato, I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke. A smoke grenade? It sounds like the sort of thing ninjas use. They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long. But who would have done something like that? The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently. Flee the courtroom? Why? Well, it's a young girl of around 15. Oh, was it now? How convenient. A young girl? Then could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGilder was just talking about? Thanks, I never would have put two and two together there, Reinosuke. My thoughts exactly. So he wasn't lying. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilder, actually? There are so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here. I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions, along with the young girl. Who is she, I wonder? And what was she even doing here at the trial? She was taking a huge risk, but for what possible benefit to herself? There's another matter that's troubling me. What's that? The 20 pence. According to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 4 passengers that night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly. But now it seems there were in fact 5 passengers, which means the figures don't seem to add up again. She's right, that is strange. Well, I mean, if she was, I guess she could have been hiding somewhere on board the omnibus. I don't know where she would have hidden, because there's no real compartment. I mean, unless I missed something. Unless she was hiding in the Phoenix Wright sign. I don't think. Well, maybe there's a luggage. I mean, so my thought process was maybe there's a luggage compartment underneath it, but we haven't seen anything like that. Is this anything? This doesn't seem to be anything. Is there anywhere up top that you can store luggage? It doesn't look like it. Okay, so I was thinking maybe she could be hiding. Can we look inside this place? Like, can we open the door and go inside? Can we go in? Thank you. Okay. So there's got to be somewhere. But the only way this makes sense is this. He was. Oh my Jesus Christ! That's a bloodstain right there. Hi, I didn't see you there before. That's blood that's soaked into the seat. The victims, obviously. Yes, and that seat would be clearly visible from the roof deck. Would you really stop somebody in full view of the other passengers like that, I wonder? Well, it was after dark, and there was a lamp on in here, so perhaps the culprit couldn't see anything outside through the skylight. Whichever way you look at it, it doesn't seem like it was a planned attack. So my thought process would be that maybe there's somewhere in here that you could hide. Like, for instance, wait, can we lift this up? Wait a minute. This seat has a handle, it seems. Aha! There we go. And suddenly another piece of the puzzle falls into place. So my thought process was, the only way that makes sense is that she was hiding in here somewhere. Where could she be hiding, you may ask? Well, all of a sudden it appears that we may have found her hiding spot, which would be inside this trunk. This looks like all sorts of equipment that might be needed to keep the omnibus running. Feeding tubs, tools to repair wheels, blankets, horseshoeing tools. So it's a storage compartment for the coachman to keep his things, it seems. There doesn't seem to be any space for passengers to stow the luggage, that's for sure. Well, I don't imagine it would, be very convenient for that purpose anyway. Yeah, why would it be convenient to store the luggage directly below where the passengers would be sitting? That'd just be silly. I didn't want to examine it again. Oh, damn it. Okay. Well, fortunately, we're short of that time. All right. Well, we have there's our mystery solved. That's where she's hiding. The trial will recommence in 5 minutes. Oh, thank you, officer. We're going straight away. Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial. We'll know soon enough, Mr. Sato. Yes. All right, we have our mystery solved. We know that she was hiding in the luggage compartment. Well, I mean, I say that, but apparently it's not a luggage compartment, but it feels like it should be a luggage compartment. She was hiding beneath the seats. February 18th, 1 o'clock p.m. in the Old Bailey courtroom. You know, he's not a lion. He's not gonna bite you. You don't have to stand like 6 light years away from him. There's the young girl next to the Mr. McGilded. Look, she must have been the one who caused a disturbance before. You know what? Maybe they're practicing safe social distancing. Let's go with that.
Well, after that rather eventful recess, this court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Zeeks.
My lord.
I believe you have established the cause of the smoke which veiled proceedings earlier.
It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade of the sort typically employed by the army.
Good gracious, the army? What in the devil's name?
It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught, and now occupies the stand.
Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior?
I can't imagine someone being angry given the voice that, like, I can't imagine this judge getting angry given the voice that I've given him.
If I may, my lord.
Yes, Mr. McGilded.
I think perhaps I ought to explain here. Why it is that this wee lass was here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that. 'Tis all tied up with the events of that night, so it is.
Very well, Mr. McGilded. Give your testimony. You will explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case.
This should be good. Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. Yeah, why tell your defense attorney what happened so they can help you? Now that'd just be, sounds like a silly thing to do. The young girl.
On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and probably nodded off. Then, begorra, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with the first start. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away.
And I wonder where she was hiding.
I remain somewhat baffled, I confess, but from what I gather on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus. Is that correct?
'Tis exactly as the defense counsel said. This lass was the 5th passenger, my lord.
Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witnesses. Are you ready, counsel?
Yes, my lord. Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start.
Well, since there's nothing to really contradict, so what do? We press for more information and just hope for the best.
And when you first got onto the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? There were not. The cabin was empty, and there was no one on the roof deck either.
You were the first passenger, as it were. I see.
Aye, and that's why I took the back side as I did. 'Tis the most comfortable, so it is. Could you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat? By all means. 'Tis how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite the one in which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, 'tis the most comfortable and where I feel most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well.
Well, that didn't get us anything useful. Let's try this one.
A loud thud, you say? And a scream? Aye, that's right. How can I explain it? 'Twas like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise. So you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor having been stabbed? Well now, you remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. And when the sound woke me and I opened my eyes, there wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fellow on the floor. You didn't see anyone, but at the same moment, you did hear a scream?
Ah, from the seats above you on the roof deck, I presume.
Not above me, no, my lord. 'Twas from inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before my eyes.
I don't really get anything here. Well, all we're getting is that you saw someone fall over. Well, okay, no, you heard someone hit the ground, and then you heard someone scream. Not getting any new information here. This is all stuff we knew already.
You sat him up? The victim, you mean? That I did, on the seat across from me, as I said. I could plainly see the poor dead was already gone. And you wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you?
Yeah, why leave a crime scene the way that it is? That'd just be silly. Why do that? That makes too much sense. I find that a little hard to believe.
Ah, Lord Van Zeeks, now why would that be?
You awake to find a man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is.
Well now, as you know, I'm in something of a special line of business.
Yeah, business of a chocolate factory.
The business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest?
Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and some would even see me dead. So I do try, wherever at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble. Are you suggesting you were going to leave the man there? Heavens alive, no! I was always intended to report it, so I was. Only, I I had in mind to find out the whys and wherefores first. The whys and wherefores? Right you are! There were some details that I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self just do just the same? Yes.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure that scream, turned out, yeah, we're really not getting anything here.
I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim. So I did, sir. So I did. As far as I could see, that is. What do you mean by that? Well now, 'tis a queer ting. The wee scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside.
Yep, she was hiding in the storage compartment. Good gracious.
Under your backside? And when I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, I found there was a wee cubbyhole there for storage. Mr. Naruhodo, we can examine the omnibus ourselves.
Yeah, Susato, we already did that.
Yes, of course. This would be a very good time to have a thorough look around and say,
Susato, we already did that.
And that's when I found her.
There was a, yep.
You say she was hiding herself? Aye, that's right. 'Twas hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, well, my heart nearly stopped beating in my chest.
Ugh, you're really overacting this. Given the way this man dressed, are you really surprised he's putting on a dramatic act? I mean, he probably shouldn't be, considering the fact that his life is on the line and there's a bit more at stake there than putting on a fancy show for all your adoring fans. But still, I'm like for instance, if Max got to the stand from Turn Up Big Top, he's known for being fabulous and putting on a show for all my adoring fans around the world. You wouldn't be surprised at all if he got to the stands like, would you like to see my magic trick? Same thing here. It's like I can believe very, very hardly that he would absolutely be willing to put on a show. He shouldn't be, because again, his life is on the line. But you know, it's fine. And sat her on the seat opposite, so I could have a wee chin wag. A wee chin wag with her? What the hell is a wee chin wag? The seat opposite? That's right, just next to the gentleman there.
You sat this young girl next to a corpse, sir?
Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in mortal danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see.
That's... Wait a minute. Well, okay. And while I was in the middle of talking, I have questions, but I'm gonna finish this first.
And while I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream. A fellow's voice this time. Presumably the scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats. Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, you must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with the knife in his belly.
In other words, the previous witnesses did not, in fact, see you at all, Mr. McGilded.
So, that sounds like something that you do if you're trying to, I guess, shift blame away from yourself. Because if he wanted to talk to her, all he had to do was just sit her on the seat next to him, not the seat across from him. Because if you the only thing that's sitting, first off, under normal circumstances, why would you ever want to sit her next to a dead body? That makes no sense. That's just, she's gonna wake up, she's gonna be like, oh, hey there, Fred. What, you're dead? What the hell happened here? Like, why would you ever want to do that? Well, I mean, unless, of course, what you were actually trying to do is the fact that there's a skylight above you that you know you can see through, and placing her there will shift blame away from yourself. But that doesn't make any sense. Well, I mean, okay, here's, like, clearly our client here is not exactly an upstanding citizen. Stop hitting R, please. He's clearly not an upstanding citizen. He's clearly not a nice person. And so, the thing is, like, I'm pretty sure we've already used up our card. Like, the Ace Attorney series, something I said very regularly in the original trilogy was, the game will never give us a guilty client, and then some people in the comments were like, oh, I can't wait till he gets to Justice for All, and then I got to Justice for All, and it was like, oh, snap, we're actually doing this, that's awesome. And then, you know, it tackled the morals of what you would do in the situation. So I think we've already used up our card. Like, they've already used that trick. I don't think they're going to use it again. So I'm not going to attribute him placing her next to the dead body as attempting to, like, malicious intent to try to get out of a crime. I'm going to attribute that to his just dense brain either not thinking about it and thinking like, oh, there's no reason to sit her next to me. Why do that? Or he did genuinely want to shift blame away from himself because he wanted to maintain his perfect image, just not thinking about how it would implicate her. But I'm not going to ascribe the possibility Like, I'm not going to ascribe the blame to him that he's just trying to cover for what he did, because I'm pretty sure we've already used up our your client is guilty card, so they're not going to pull that again. Because that like, you pull that trick the first time and it works because you don't expect it. If you try to pull that trick again, it's going to be like, okay, we kind of, because that's what happened with Turnabout Revolution and Spirit of Justice. Is like, the first time you use Maya as a hostage, it's like, oh wow, this is serious, this is intense, this is really bad, and it's like really intense drama. Seriously, the final like hour of Justice for All is some of the most heart-wrenching, or maybe not heart-wrenching, but like, my heart could not have been beating any faster. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. It was in the most intense drama in any game I had played up until, I think maybe the most intense drama I'd played in a game until that point. The final hour of Justice for All is freaking phenomenal. However, then they tried it again in Tournament Revolution, and it's like, okay, what are we doing here? Like, my gut reaction to finding out that Maya was a hostage was not, oh no, she's a hostage again. It was, oh, she's a hostage again, seriously. So I don't think they're gonna try to pull that trick twice. But then that does leave the question of, because now that explains why they saw two people there and how he was hiding. Because this matches up with what we saw, which was one person was sitting next to the mysterious fifth passenger was sitting next to the victim. The victim was sitting where we always thought he was, and Mr. McGilded was hiding underneath the blind spot from the passengers on the roof of the omnibus. So what that leaves as a possibility is that possibly the mysterious passenger did it. I doubt it, because that means that she would have had to lift up the seat while he was because she would have had to been hiding there before the omnibus left. So she would have had to been on there ahead of time, lift herself out of the seat, which means she would have had to push. She would have had the strength to push up the seat, which means she would have pushed him up as well. Even if she had the strength to do that, no way he didn't wake up from that. Then, after she would have killed him, she would have had to lift it up again, and then jump back into the storage compartment, all without waking him up, and with having the strength to do it, and in the amount of time it would have taken before he woke up. No way that happened. I guess technically it could have been a suicide. I don't really have any evidence against that, but I don't think, that doesn't seem like where this case is building. I don't believe that they would pull because there is room to believe that it might have been him, given the current circumstances, but so is every other Ace Attorney case. So I don't think they'd pull your client's actually guilty card twice. I don't think they'd do that. So our only remaining options is that one of the people on the witness, one of the two people from last time is lying, but that can't make any sense, because unless they... Actually, wait, hold on. Wait, can the skylight open? Wait a minute. Wait, can the skylight open? Wait, is there a hatch? There is. Or not a hatch. There's a latch right here. Wait a minute. We might be onto something here. There's a latch right there. Right? That is a latch. You can certainly see inside the cabin through this opening, that's for sure. Yes, and there's a lamp in the enclosed cabin, so I'm sure the witnesses would have been able to see it quite clearly. That's not good for us. Can we not open this up? It looks like I should be able to open that up, right? It absolutely. Okay, wait. What if we go inside? Can we see if there's a latch from the inside? I don't actually know if I can look up that high inside. I'm gonna try though. Can I look up? I can. Okay. Is there any way for me to open this up? It's quite a large skylight, isn't it? Yes, quite large enough to afford a good view into the cabin from a roof deck. And there doesn't appear to be a handle or catch of any description. So I suppose it can't be opened from inside the cabin at least. Okay, not from the inside, but there is one on the roof, right? I'm almost positive that's a handle you can use to open up the hatch. So, one of two things happen. Because, yep, that's exactly, you know what, that's it. I just put two together. That's exactly what happened. Okay, he said he heard a thump, right? He said he heard something hit the ground. Now, I can't prove this, because for some reason the game isn't letting me examine whether that's an actual latch or not. But what if he was actually riding on the roof of the omnibus, and then one of these two, I don't know which one of them, or maybe both of them, maybe they were all together, who knows, one of them killed him, opened up the hatch, and then dropped him down into the omnibus, which would explain why he heard the thump, like he heard the sound of something hitting the floor of the omnibus, drops through the hatch, and then it makes it look like it could have only been him. Maybe? That's what I'm going with right now. I can't prove it, because I can't examine whether that's an actual latch you can use to open it up or not. But that's my working theory right now. That's what I'm going with. That seems to that would explain everything. That would explain it would explain the motive we have in here. I would explain everything. It would explain really just about everything every question we've had up until this point. I think that's what I'm going with. That's got to be what happened here.
What they believe to be yourself and the victim was in fact this girl and the late Mr. Mason?
Also, I haven't called it out yet, but this cross-examination theme might be one of my favorites in the series. I really like this cross-examination theme. Aye, my lord. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage out of sight. I think we're getting close now. I think we're getting closer to the truth.
It is certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and readily confused, perhaps, with this young girl.
After that, of course, with a scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and put up the horses.
Thank you, I've heard enough. The events as explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl?
Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. She's a chancer, earns her crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket. What?
This girl here, a petty thief. Order, order. Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question.
Oh dear God. What? What? Did you just what did you just shoot at the judge?
How dare you?
What is the meaning? Did you just what did you shoot at me? Pressurized cotton candy? What was in that thing? This is a cloud of pink smoke just came whooshing out. And now she's gone. She disappeared along with the cloud of pink smoke.
The girl, she's gone.
Oh, great. Is it going to be a pirate? Open your eyes. I'm more here. That doesn't really fit her personality.
Good gracious, how?
What was the point in that little sidestep? Probably so that she could be right next to Mr. McGillicuddy.
I know what you're all thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This little dipper, you'll say, slipped up and got caught on the job. She got herself back into a corner so she knifed the gent. Go on, that's what's in your heads, isn't it?
No, not at all. This is a court of law. We're here to determine the truth, not cast... Oh, not another... Oh, great, green smoke. What is happening? Now a cloud of green smoke? Would you try to poison us this time?
Look, knives for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do is these fingers. I'm a professional, alright? Maybe not on your eyes, but I got pride in what I do.
Oh, Jesus. Let me guess, you don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs?
Oh, this? Yeah, this is in a bag I lifted the other day, down where they keep the four-wheeler drags. It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink best.
Oh, do not wave that thing in my direction again.
Meanwhile, Mr. Dracula over here is just having a nice cold drink of blood, you know, as he drinks the blood of his victims like you do.
You admit that you were riding the omnibus on the night in question?
Alright, yeah, it's just like the Irishman said.
The court accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. You will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question.
Alright, if I have to.
Alright, one step closer to the truth. Witness testimony, what the girl saw.
So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, just like always. But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. I tell you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Then, after a while, I heard this loud bang. Then it jumped out my skin, I did, and the scream just came out. It's because of that, this swell found me. It didn't help me get away, mind.
Yes, he let you go.
I fail to understand why you would let this street urchin go, Mr. McGilded.
Oh, 'tis simplicity itself, my lord. You'll see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact.
How?
As I'm sure I've said before, sir. I was sitting right on top of the place where she was hiding herself.
I think a demonstration is called for. You really? We need to demonstrate someone hiding inside the thing?
This is why I was sat that night.
And the cubbyhole of which you have spoken is underneath the seat, I presume? Yes, it does appear just large enough to accommodate someone of the girl's stature.
Aye, but of course, the wee lass was stuck in there, because I parked myself on the seat for the duration.
Ah.
So you see, that's why I left the last bolt. Knew that if the police found her there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself if a young life was ruined when all the time I knew she was innocent.
Even though you must have realized your own action would result in your own innocence being called into question?
Not at all, my lord, not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. So, I thought, it was worth taking a punt at my own good name for the sake of this less fortunate lass. My goodness. What a perfect gentleman.
My lord! This fine symbol of a man cannot possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like this. I'm ashamed of myself for ever doubting you, sir.
I mean, it's not been cleared yet. That's... This is troubling.
With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time.
Huh. That's enough to convince you, huh?
Saints alive! All 6 members of the jury consensual in their leaning to a verdict of not guilty.
This is disconcerting. That should not have been enough to convince you of anything. All that proves is that she couldn't have done it. Okay, so as someone who has just gone on a whole, like, 5-minute rant about how I'm very confident they're not going to pull the Pharaoh My Turnabout twist again, because if they did, I'd have some choice words. But if they did, but I don't think they're going to. So, I'm pretty sure what's going to end up happening is one of the 2 people on the roof is going to be revealed as having done it, and then they shoved him down the skylight if they would let me open the skylight to test my theory, but they won't, of course. So, as someone who just went on a rant about that, that shouldn't have convinced you of anything, because all that convinced you, the only thing that proved is that she couldn't have been the one to kill the victim, which we already knew. That didn't do anything to prove that he okay, now, I don't know if I like what they're trying to tee up here.
Mr. Naruhodo, well, it must mean what? That we're victorious!
It's not gonna be that easy.
We've won? Are you sure?
Now what, is it gonna be a reverse summation exhibit? Okay, what the hell? Why did you prop up your boot on the table? I did not need to see this today, but here we are anyway.
If the sight of my iron-heeled Wellington offends, pray, do forgive the discourtesy.
Why are you propping your feet up on the prosecution's bench? Did anyone ask? Did you ask for this? I still didn't ask for this. What is that? What? Why? Okay.
This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in British judicial practices.
What, that you're allowed to do this in a court of law?
Where evidence and reasoning should be paramount, emotion rules the day.
Emotion? Okay, well, what the hell is the point of propping your boot up on the bench? Okay.
The witness's latest statement gives us a clear insight into his true nature.
What do you mean, his true nature?
Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in their investigation. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It's noted in black and white here in the police report.
Good lord. Okay, meaning?
The evidence has been tampered with. In order to corroborate Mr. McGilded's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat.
What? She could have still been hiding under there.
Order! How could such a devious contrivance possibly have been effected, counsel?
Wait, hold on, wait, did I miss something? Hold on, we need to rewind for a second. Okay, I might be missing something here, but all Mr. McGilded said was he was sitting on top of she was sitting on top of the place she was hiding, that it was large enough to accommodate her size, and then he let her flee the scene afterwards. Also, I didn't want to open the options. Didn't we just examine the omnibus? And we just saw that the compartment was full of hold on. Wait, I might have missed something colossal here, so I'm gonna check again. Wait, hold it. Wait a minute. What the hell? What the hell? What? What the hell? When did that get there? What? Wow, what the hell is happening? That's blood, isn't it? Is something wrong? Oh, it's just, well, this blood thing's so obvious, that's all. And yet, Van Zieks made to mention it. What, because it wasn't there! What? What the hell is happening? Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute here. We need to slow the hell down. We checked this omnibus. We checked this damn omnibus at the start of the episode. This blood was not here. Wait. So is it actually empty now? It's empty now. The hell? So okay. So the only thing that makes sense here is that they tampered with us during the smoke grenade. The only thing that makes sense here is that when she set up the smoke grenade, someone came in here and tampered with the omnibus. That's the only thing that makes sense. Because unless I am blind as a damn bat, which I don't think I am, I missed some stuff, but I would not have missed a big-ass pool of blood on the floor. Someone tampered with this. Someone came in here during the trial, presumably during the smoke grenade shenanigans, and put a fake, clearly fresh, by the way, because this one's all dried up, and the one down here is not dried up. Clearly fresh bloodstain here, and also they emptied out, which, by the way, you didn't need to do this, because there would have been plenty of room in there for her. That's what confused me, was that, first of all, I'm pretty sure we checked it and it was full. I didn't realize that we checked it again just now and it was actually empty. Second of all, this doesn't contradict, like, you bring this up as, like, they removed the things out of the trunk, which is interesting, yes. But it doesn't make what happened impossible, because she still could have hidden there even if it was full of stuff. So, I don't know what you're getting here, but also, so someone tampered with the damn, someone tampered with the omnibus. Wait, okay, so we need to check the whole thing then, because if that one was just tampered with, then something else must have been tampered with too. Or at least maybe not, there might have been something else was tampered with. Unfortunately, I wasn't paying any attention to anything. So I don't have any idea. Is there anything that we can see through the skylight that's different now? No, that's still the same as it always was. Okay, I did not expect to see that. I legit did not expect to see that when I opened the damn door. I opened the door, and I saw that big-ass pool of blood on the floor. I'm like, what? Something's wrong here. Something's very, very wrong here. And that's all still the same. Okay, so nothing else has changed. This is all exactly the same as it was before. It's quite a slug scale. Yeah, this is all the same as it was before. Okay, so nothing else. So it's the pool of blood on the floor, and it's the storage compartment that's been emptied out. That's all that's changed here. What the hell is happening? Okay, so why would someone do that? Because that doesn't, like Van Zieks said, that doesn't help. Well, I mean, it helps us because it implicates. Are they actually gonna do it again? They don't know if I like this. I don't know if I like that. So, okay. To explain what just kind of clicked in my head. What it seems like they're trying to tee up here is the idea that Mr. McGilded actually did do this. Because emptying the compartment further corroborates his story, and placing a fake bloodstain on the floor of the omnibus further corroborates my theory that someone would have fallen through the ceiling of the thing, like fallen through the ceiling of the omnibus and then slapped against the ground. But the only reason that you would make those changes is if you were trying to place, false evidence to try to help Mr. McGilded get out of a sticky situation. And the only reason you have to do that is if you knew that the person you were trying to protect wasn't actually innocent in the first place. So that, combined with the fact that the jury so readily accepted the fact that he was innocent, makes me a little nervous at the potential prospect of us going down a retreaded Farewell My Turnabout route here, so... I will proceed with cautious optimism, but something's wrong here. Something's very, very wrong here.
When the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the car compartment under the seat was...
Okay, so while you're at it, you want to mention the big-ass bloodstain on the floor that no one saw, apparently?
Well, my Nipponese friend...
Me?
When the carriage was submitted as evidence, doubtless you examined it in fine detail, as would any self-respecting practitioner of the law.
I mean, I did check it.
Pray, what did you find the condition of the undersea compartment to be?
Oh, to be sure, the young gentleman will be able to clear this up in a jiffy.
Sorry?
Go ahead. You tell the court now, fella. How this is all an elaborate excuse for the desperate Lord Van seeks.
I don't know if I can't say that in earnest if we checked it.
Well, counsel, do you have something to say on this matter?
How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of that little compartment? I did look, and it wasn't empty. I really don't know if giving this answer is helping my cause as counsel. We're telling the truth. As far as I remember, at least. When I first examined the compartment, I'm fairly certain there was a number of articles inside it, yes.
Are you sure, counsel?
Ah, be whist! What are you saying now, you daft doll? I thought you were on my side here.
I'm on the side of truth here, buddy. Oh, I don't know if I like where we're headed here.
What game are you playing? Your task is to defend the...
No, my task is to find the truth, as should yours be.
Why would you say something to compromise his position?
I don't know about you, but I have a code of standing by the truth and not lying or manipulating facts in order to twist a narrative or push an agenda. I'm on the side of truth and learning the actual facts of the matter of what happened. I don't want to twist it just to get him a false guilty verdict or a false not guilty verdict. I'm here to find out what actually happened. Wherever that path takes me. And looking at where that path takes me is a little worrying. As the advocate for the defense in this trial, I confess I'm still not entirely sure where I stand, but it seems to me that I should state what facts I do know as clearly as honestly as possible.
Interesting.
'Tis not altogether pleasing, fella. I'm simply telling the truth, Mr. McGilded. Well, don't forget that you're supposed to be representing my best interest here, lad. Now then. A fellow's memory is a curious thing, and not altogether reliable. No, the court must consider the facts. That there currycon under the seat is as empty as the devil's heart, so it is. Do you think perhaps it would be in your best interest to now admit that you've been mistaken?
Okay, well, so do we need to prove that it was tampered with? Because if so, how about we point to the giant bloodstain in the floor that apparently everyone missed when you were re-examining it?
I should like the jury to weigh in on this matter, I think. That compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. The Guild's rules state the omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times, so it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. Purple isn't that irresponsible. That money-lending fleas are in the pig purse are lying!
Well, that was fast. Fastest reverse card ever.
What? I can't believe I was nearly taken in. The stinky rates are always stinkers. Nothing but cowards, a lot of them. What? Oh no! It's a trick! Of course it's a trick. Boop.
Again, fastest reverse card in history.
Quite so. I must concur here. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Yes, but every time a different truth, it seems.
My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly a verdict of not guilty at this time would be wholly inappropriate. Thank you, counsel. But before we proceed any further, there is the matter of the outstanding cross-examination.
I was wondering when we were going to get to that.
Counsel for the defense, begin your questioning of the witness, please.
Yes, my lord. The whole balance of the trial has shifted almost beyond recognition. The Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem. Alright. Let's get this show on the road, shall we?
Hold it!
So you couldn't see out into the cabin at all?
Not a jolt. Most days I push the cushion up with me head and look out the crack. There I can have a butcher's at who I'm gonna fiddle. I thought that you were a pickpocket, not a butcher. I mean, I can have a look. The seat I get under ain't as plush as the other one, see? So most of the time, the passengers plant themselves opposite. But for some reason that night, the Easter Irishman spent the whole journey right over me head. And for that reason, you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out, I see. Truth is, I ain't too happy in a small dark place.
Oh, well. He reacted, and thus, what do? There's no question. We must pursue.
Excuse me.
As we do every time someone reacts. Is something wrong, Mr. McGilded?
Oh, I do apologize. Was there something the matter, Counsel? I'm just wondering if Miss Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps. You seem to be thinking something to yourself. Oh, no, it was nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass, is all.
Yeah, that's why you were giggling about it.
I see. Yes, I'm sure we can all sympathize. I'm still scared of the dark now.
Yeah, and therefore, yeah, so that's why, so you were scared of the dark, that's why Kazuma had you shoved up in a wardrobe the whole time? That's, big brain plays by Kazuma.
Aye, and I don't know about yourself, but I find that the darkness seems to make everything you hear seem that much louder as well. Yeah, I suppose it does, maybe. Miss Lestrade, did you hear something that night? Anything? An unusual noise, perhaps?
Anything would be helpful right now.
Nah, not really. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring.
You didn't hear anything? Nothing at all.
What a pity. If only Miss Lestrade had heard something, it might have given us a vital new clue.
Actually, I think the fact that she didn't hear anything is even more of a clue. Because she should have heard something. She damn well should have heard something. She should have heard the sound of the victim in the cabin. But she didn't. So I'm guessing that's going to lead us down the possibility of, oh, maybe he wasn't in there at all and he fell from above. There's nothing else you should have heard him getting on the damn thing.
I believe the statement just made by the witness is profoundly important.
Profoundly important? But all she said was that she heard nothing.
Yes, which is the profoundly important point. I'm almost sure of it.
Yeah, well, the same way they're almost certain that Kazuma's dead, which is a very odd word choice to pick, especially... That's still bothering me, is the fact that post-mortem report said that Kazuma's almost certainly dead, because I've heard talk and comments about how Kazuma's like one of their favorite characters of all time. That, combined with how prevalent on the box art Kazuma is in this game, despite having seemingly such a minimal role, makes me very suspicious as to whether it's going to be revealed at some point that his death was actually a fabrication, like it was all ruse. In which case, that would mean that the person from the quote unquote culprit from the last chapter wouldn't be legally culpable. So, guess I'll have to wait and see.
Miss Gina Lestrade, you will supplement your formal testimony by repeating the last statement, please.
What? Supplement? What are you on about? Don't give me all your fancy talk. I know what you're trying to do. Work on me. That's right. Insult the judge. Always a good move.
Okay. All you hear is snoring. You should have heard more than just snoring there, buddy.
So you were straining to hear what was happening the entire time? Since the moment you hid yourself? Not exactly. No. Sorry? Well, there's no one in the cabin to start with. I could just push the cushion up and have a butcher's to see what was what. But then, when I saw the smoke going on, I got my head down so he didn't notice me. And Mr. McGill sat on the seat under which you were hiding, correct? Yeah, would you have me leave it, eh? What a mug! So then all I could do was listen. I was waiting to jump out of there as soon as I wouldn't leave, see? But would he? Not likely. Even though we stopped here and there, I never heard the doors open.
I never heard the doors open. She never heard the doors open. She never heard the doors open, which doesn't make any sense, because she should have heard the doors open. She damn well should have heard those doors open, because she should have heard the victim get on the omnibus. Are there any conclusions we can draw from that? It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up.
Miss Lestrade, what you have just told the court is clear at odds with the facts.
At odds? Are you sure, man?
Absolutely.
It seems my learned Nipponese friend is not as dull-witted as I feared.
So Van Zieks realized it too.
Counsel, I must insist that you bolster your claim with evidence, or some complicit party's name at the very least.
Yes, my lord.
I'd expect you to demonstrate this alleged contradiction to the court.
According to Miss Lestrade, while she was hiding in the omnibus that night, she heard nothing but the sound of Mr. McGillis snoring. But think, Ryunosuke, think! There's something else she should have heard.
She should, show a person. She should have heard, what was it, Mason, that's his name.
Very well, my lord, allow me to elaborate. On a particular sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear on the night in question. The sound very clearly explained the presence of the following. The following person.
Take that!
Thrice fired Mason?
Yes, my lord. Is that the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus?
Order, order. Explain the reasoning, counsel.
Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on board the omnibus, is that correct? Yeah, of course I was. And the next person to board the omnibus was Mr. McGillis. That it was. Not necessarily was it the cabin when I climbed aboard. At least, not in plain sight. So you were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at that time. Did I not just say as much? I wasn't traveling with anyone else, if that's what you mean. Yeah, I saw him get on, remember? Through the crack under the seat cushion. He was on his own for sure. And from what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onward journey, during which time did you not hear the door opening or closing at all? Nah, I never heard it. That's exactly what I was listening for, wasn't it? Waiting for the swear to leave. In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage? Oh. We know that the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Therefore, Miss Lestrade's statement about what she did or did not hear is at odds with the facts. Ah!
Yes, this petty thief's statement was clearly flawed. Lord Van Zeeks.
Yes, he knew. He knew all too well that there was an inconsistency in Miss Lestrade's statement.
It would seem words of thanks were in order for my learned friend.
What are you talking about?
You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colorful statements are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths, nothing more.
Is that right? How could the victim possibly not aboard the omnibus? That makes no sense whatsoever. And this girl is a pickpocket, let's not forget that.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Granny's about to throw down the hammer. Uh-oh. Oh, dear. Thing is, man, I'm starting to think that those scales might be tipping in the correct direction. Because if the bloodstain had been there at the beginning of the trial, then I would be convinced that my theory is correct. But the fact that it was only added afterwards, like during the smoke grenade explosion, I don't know about that. Something's not right with that. She didn't even say anything.
I didn't want the judge to judge the dear little mite just because she had some rather naughty ways. But I must say, I can't abide liars. And neither can I.
Mr. Foreman!
I didn't want to judge this girl just because she has some less than celebrous ways. But I must say, I cannot abide liars.
Ah! Mr. Naruhodo! That's 5 jury members leaning towards guilty!
Well, your consideration... They really want to flaunt their liquid technology now. They're like, look what we can do now. Well, your consideration for others is refreshing, my Nipponese friend. To the considerable troubles you have spared me. They really want to flaunt their new tech. Yes, very refreshing.
Ah! Ah! Why are you playing that? Have you forgotten who you're working for, you useless Eastern Abaddon? This is oh my god, stop licking. I'm moving on. I'm not looking at that stupid tongue animation any longer than I have to. Juror number 2 is the only one left. Mr. Naruhodo, the way this is going, I know, if we can't find some new way to convince everyone of Mr. McGilda's innocence, the judge will rule and will have lost. I very much wanted to believe the words of one of London's most respected gentlemen, but those of us in service know we must accept hard truths.
Hold it!
Yes, The witness's last statement seems to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light on the whole case.
What are you saying?
I'm sorry, sir. Whatever do you mean?
Counsel, I will not tolerate you attempting to prorogue my interrogation. Explain yourself at once. When the accused boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness in the stand, and yet the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain this victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus?
There's only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage. There's another entrance. Which I still can't prove because we still haven't been able to open the latch yet. But I can prove with the evidence that's here now. But if that bloodstain was not there at the start of the trial. If the door wasn't opened even once, the only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way.
I wondered what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. But behold, the omnibus is here for all to see. Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door. The other has only windows. Fixed windows which cannot possibly open. In short, there is no entrance to the cabin other than the door.
But there could be. There's one possibility that you haven't considered.
Oh, really?
Yes, one other way inside that isn't the door. Another opening, the use of which allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin.
Alright, counsel. The defense fully identified the location for the court. Here is the omnibus on which the incident occurred. Where on earth is this entrance by which you propose the victim enter the cabin? It'd be the skylight. I still can't prove that this actually opens, by the way, but I'm just gonna have to assume that it does.
The answer is obvious. It can only have been the skylight.
I say, the skylight?
Objection!
Your ludicrous proposal almost had me lost for words. However,
The skylight may well be large enough for someone to pass through.
Objection!
so you claim, but do you have a shred of evidence to support your addle-brained theory?
Both Mr. McGilden and Miss Lestrade said the same in their testimonies. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud, such as the noise made by someone falling to the floor.
Yes, which has already been explained, as the sound of the victim falling from his seat having been assaulted with a dagger.
Yes, it has. But will the man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witnesses describe? A noise loud enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let out an involuntary cry, in fact?
Good gracious.
Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment where the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin, he fell into it.
You're now suggesting that the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin? That's simply impossible.
How can you be so sure?
Because if the victim had fallen inside to the skylight, as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. And yet, not one person made mention of such events in their testimony.
And what possible motivation could you think they might have possibly had for not mentioning such a thing? If we use our thinky brains, why would they not mention that of ever having happened? Why do you think they might not have brought that up? Well, there's only two reasons. Either it didn't happen, which might be where we're headed, or what I'm going to say for my justification, which is they might have been the ones to do it, which I'm starting to think they might not be, but we're going to go down that train of thought for now. Well, that's true, but... Yes? But a humble fella, make a wee comment here. Mr. McGilded? To be sure now, the two fellows who were sat on the roof that testified afore said none of the victim fallen to the skylight. But it seems to me, my lord, that 'tis not so much a case of them not saying, but... Aye. 'Tis a case of them being unable to say. What? I think perhaps the two fellows do be having some sort of a compelling reason not to mention what happened. Would you not agree? Fine, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Oh my goodness, surely not. Those two chaps on the roof? Her typing speed has increased exponentially.
You mean the ones who stuck that knife in the man were...
Jeez, her hands are going like 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Yes, what exactly are you insinuating here, you blitterer?
Oh, what the what the hell? What is that? What the? What the hell is that? What is that? What am I looking at right now? What is happening on my screen? What is the you good there, buddy? You appear to be you appear to be having a bit of a seizure right now. What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing?
This is a flaming outrage. I've got a mind to give you a blinker in a minute.
Again? What are you doing? Stop it! Stop that! What are you doing? What are you riding an imaginary horse? What are you doing? What am I looking at right now? What is the Mr. Fairplay? Oh, I'd be more concerned about the other person who appears to be having a mini seizure right now.
You're effectively accusing me, a city gentleman and well-respected banker.
Again with this, what is this animation?
And me, a very, very angry hatter. Suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed that man in the guts, it's a disgrace, it's scandalous. Ugh. I protest in the strongest possible terms.
Oh, great, now you're looking. What is this animation? Look at that! Look at that! Oh my god, what is that? What the? I don't. What is happening on my screen right now? Of course, it's just back to normal now.
Order. This is not the time, witnesses. I will not permit this wanton invasion of the stand. Return to the anteroom at once.
But this is beyond reason, my lord. It's outrageous.
It's very hurtful. Yeah, I imagine doing that constantly for non-stop would be hurtful.
My lord, if I may comment on this man's hideous dancing. Go ahead, Lord Van Zeeks. It was the defense that incited this outburst of the witnesses. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof.
Accuse? I never intended to.
It seems, young Nipponese, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. You propose to this court that the victim fell to the skylight from the roof deck of the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimidated their criminal guilt. In our British courts of law, that is what is termed a baseless accusation.
I know I was rash to put this idea forward without any actual evidence, but you can't just dismiss it without a second thought. He said to himself, what are we wasting time for? Get them to testify.
I thought there was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the fellow. We have to see this matter through now, one way or another.
If there's a filth and rubbish in our midst, we must dispose of it at once.
Oh my. Well, you done. Well, now we've done pissed off the crowd. What's happening, Mr. Naruhodo? The spectators in the public gallery they're in a complete frenzy.
Mr. Fairplay, Mr. First. My lord, you will take the stand again and make another formal testimony in reference to the indictment brought by the defense.
Yes, my lord.
I didn't come here for this.
Yeah, well, too bad. You know. Yeah, well, I didn't come here to see your insane seizure-inducing dance moves, and yet I got it anyway. So we don't always get what we want in life. There's no time to think this through. All I can do is keep pushing forward. Just keep pressing on. Okay, witness testimony refuting the accusation.
We were the only two people up on that roof deck, dead or alive, I can swear to that.
If anything had happened when we were sitting, don't you think one or the other of us would have noticed?
In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We know he's that's just not true. That's just not true. I have evidence proving the case, or proving that you did know that. What did you just say? Neither of us know the first thing about the victim. Your name is literally in this damn debtor's ledger. What are you talking about? Oh, great! This again. This has got to be the strangest, most outrageous animation that we've ever seen in the series so far.
The skylight was shut the entire time. I tell you, we couldn't possibly have opened it.
I don't buy that either. Just because the game isn't going to let me open it doesn't mean it can't be opened. We can test that right now.
If you're so sure the victim fell to the skylight, where's your proof?
And we have that. We do have that proof.
I must say that listening to this testimony, it is somewhat hard to imagine. How either witness could have performed any malevolent act on this open rooftop deck without the other noticing forthwith?
That's right. You see?
We're innocent, I tell you. I don't know if you can call someone who does whatever the hell you're doing right now innocent, but, you know.
And then logistically, of course, the argument falls down to if the two of you were in collusion with one another.
What?
Yeah?
According to investigations by Scotland Yard, the two witnesses shared no common dealings.
Huh. Well, I don't trust couples money more than I trust the stinking rich.
Usually a good principle. Something doesn't feel right here. The trial is going in our favor, really. So why do I feel so uneasy?
Counsel for the defense, over to you. Your cross-examination, please.
Oh, yes, my lord.
We were the only
Oh wait, yeah, we already. Okay, let's just press. You very much did know something about him. So you had never met Mr. Thrice Fired Mason before?
Oh, no. Not once, never.
I cannot get over this stupid clip clop animation. It's like he's writing an imaginary. I don't even know what he's trying to do. Ugh.
He never met the man before, he said, never.
And you, Mr. First, had no prior dealings with this victim either?
That's right, sir. Hatters don't have much to do with brickmakers, to be perfectly honest, sir.
No, I imagine not.
You see? How many different ways can I put this? Neither of us have the remotest connection to the gentlemen who were inside that cabin.
Okay. Wait. Oh, he reacted. Oh, he reacted. Interesting. Okay.
Excuse me.
Mr. McGill did.
Yes, counsel? What can I be doing for you? Or you and you for? Did the witnesses last time give you pause for thought somehow? Not the remotest connection. Is that right now, I wonder?
What are you insinuating now?
Ah, Mr. Fairplay, it has been too long, so it has.
Eh?
If I'm not very much mistaken, I believe tis fast approaching, is it not? Your repayment date.
I beg your pardon?
Heh. You borrowed 20 guineas from me, sir.
I did unconscionable rate of interest. You tricked me. It's extortion.
Well now, is that a touch of brigandry, is it? The sort of brigandry that might motivate a fella to pass his crimes off on another.
Ah!
And young Mr. First. Me, sir? What do you want with me, sir? You do be making hats for a living, do you not? That there top hat's lying about on your head. Is that one of your creations, is it? Oh, well, I'm still just an apprentice, you understand. I'm learning to find the perfect fit for whatever fine gent walks through the door. Yeah, the perfect fit, is it? Well, 'tis a very distinctive design, so it is. Many customers like it, I tell you. They like a distinctive touch.
You know what they don't like? Whatever the hell you're doing right now.
Customers such as Thrice Fired Mason? Ah. There was a photographic print of the victim submitted as evidence of war, my lord.
This you mean?
I can't help but thinking that the poor fella's hat looks distinctly familiar, wouldn't you say? Oh. That's one of my hats. Aye, that it is. So it would seem the brickmaker was a customer of yours. The sort of customer, I'd wager, you could have had a wee quarrel over the distinctiveness of the goods. Oh, no, sir. Absolutely not, sir. Well, there's really nothing more to add. It wouldn't be right to say that the two fellas here haven't the remotest connection to the victim, you see. I rest my case.
You little weasel.
He's better at this than I am. Gosh, Mr. McGill has certainly been through excuse me, thorough in his research, hasn't he? Yeah, and I wonder why he might be thorough in his research and be cackling about it. Oh, Hat Hunter Award. Okay, I got an accolade. Apparently.
Please don't let little, if I can speak, please don't let me little interruption hold up the proceedings.
Oh, Jesus Christ, we're back at it again with Mr. Clip Clop over here.
Hold it!
Are you quite certain about that? That the skylight was shut the entire time?
I'm going to lose my block with you in a minute.
He's going to lose his ride with you in a minute, that's what he said.
Take a look for yourself. Go on. You see? It's shut fast now, just like it was on the night.
So it is, of course, a fellow the size of Mr. Mason could likely break right through it still and all.
What?
Just look at the size of the thing, you understand?
Now you hold on there a minute, sir. The size of the ting means nothing. Not on its own. Let's consider the bigger picture here, shall we?
Let's stop butting our cane, shall we?
I was riding the omnibus on another occasion when, well, I broke wind.
Too much information there, pal. This is an unexpected confession, Mr. First. Too much information. We did not need to know that.
Oh, I just mean to say, well, the point is, I tried to open the skylight, you see. But, just my luck, I couldn't make it budge. The stench was terrible. Everyone was looking daggers at me, sir. I went as red as rouge, I did.
Too much information. Are you expecting me to sentence you?
Oh, no, sir. The point is, the skylight can't be opened. I tried and tried when I was...
Oh, wait a minute.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to say about that, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade! Yeah, I mean, we kind of assumed that it would open.
Huh? The skylight. That's what we're talking about, right?
Oh, great. No, not the smoke gun again. Not again.
Oh, the skylight's open dead easy. More easily than you can load that weapon?
Oh my god, what is this animation?
That's a lie, I tell you. Otherwise, when I broke wind, You can't do it from inside, you mug. Oh. Look, a few weeks ago, I was up on the roof deck of one of them drags, and I had a great haul. I mean, I had purses come out my ears.
Miss Lestrade, this is not the form to be eulogizing on the subject of your criminal activities.
Well, anyway, I had a bit of a scare. When I lifted the last bloke's purse, it got wise to me. All four of them surrounded me, so I couldn't hop off the bus and leg it. So what I did was, I used the skylight, opened the hatch, and jumped right through. Well, yeah, the hatch for them skylights is on the top side, so you can't open it from inside.
I mean, yeah, that's what we saw. The skylight opens from the roof deck? Yeah, I mean, I imagine if we were to go inside and try to open it from the, it's still not letting me check from the inside, by the way. Like, not check from the inside. It's if I go in here and I try to open it from in here, it's never let me open from in here. That's never happened. But also if I try to go from, I didn't want to back out. If I try to go to the top and I open it from here, it still doesn't let me do that. But I did say that looked like there was a handle that I could use to open it up. So it just sucks that I couldn't demonstrate or do it myself up until this point.
Bailiff, climb up on top of the roof of the omnibus at once and verify this witness's claims.
Yep, that's what I thought. I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't have been able to open. No, not again.
Segi?
Order, order, order. So, it appears that the street girl's statement is quite true.
I don't believe it. The skylight opens, and from the roof deck. Yeah, so now I imagine if we were to go inside here, and we were to look up. Well, yeah, I get it. We've already been through here. We already been through this song and dance, and now I'm guessing it's gonna be okay. Oh, it's not open. I would have thought I thought it'd have been open by now, but I guess not. Oh, never mind. I guess it is open now. Oh. Oh. Well, good thing I checked this, Jesus Christ. And I'm guessing that's going to be the final nail in the coffin, because there's a blood stain on the frame, which wouldn't have been there if no one fell through the hatch. Or unless, because this is also a fresh blood stain, unlike the blood stain on the couch, unless it was placed there after the fact to try to throw everyone off, which is looking more and more likely by the second. So, don't know about this one. Don't know about this one there, buddy. I'm very curious as to how this case is going to end now. I don't believe it! The skylight opens and from the roof deck! Because the thing is, the part of me that's like, that doesn't want to believe that it's going to end up being another Pharaoh White turnabout is the fact that if Ryunosuke doesn't get a not guilty verdict here, we lose. Because he can't, the whole thing about this test is that he has to get a not guilty verdict or else he doesn't get to be a lawyer in Britain. So, I don't know what happens then, but I also can't explain a reason for why there would be the fake bloodstains in there, and why everything would have been pulled out of the trunk if that's not the case. So, I'm just very curious to see what's going to happen next, and how the case is going to resolve. This could be the clue that we've been looking for.
Well, counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. So the skylight opens. Perhaps I should investigate for myself. I just did exactly that. If you're sure the victim felt the skylight was your proof, there's blood on the inside frame.
Objection. On the night in question, the victim was fatally stabbed in the stomach, and immediately afterwards, the victim's body was pushed through the skylight into the cabin below. Those are the facts, and the irrefutable proof remains clearly visible in the omnibus that stands before us today in this very courtroom.
What? That's utter humbug. You can't possibly have any evidence.
No, you can't. I mean, we didn't do it, I tell you. It's impossible.
Irrefutable proof? Here? In this courtroom?
Counsel,
My lord.
I believe everyone would appreciate a little clarification here, Where exactly within the omnibus is the evidence to which you allude? You will point out what it is that proves the victim fell from the roof deck to the skylight. Okay, can I look up? I can, and it's right there.
Got it.
By Jupiter, is that blood?
It's a damn good thing that I checked the omnibus at the start of the episode, by the way, because if I didn't, we'd have been screwed. The blood stain proves two things. Firstly, when the incident occurred, the skylight of the omnibus was open.
What?
And secondly, the victim was already bleeding when he fell through the opening. Oh my! And so it follows that Mr. McGilded, who was inside the enclosed cabin himself at the time, cannot possibly be guilty of this crime!
Well, unless, I mean, the thing is, we know that blood wasn't there at the start of the trial.
Order.
But.
Who are you, Candace and Phineas Verb?
But the blood could have sprayed up there when the fella was stabbed inside the cabin.
And only found its way to that one particular spot on the skylight? Sure, and that would be very convenient. I myself wouldn't have been able to open it now, would I? But, there's no way to know for certain, is there? Why don't you have a good look on the floor of the cabin between the two seats, Mr. First?
Yeah, that blood wasn't there. No, that blood wasn't there.
'Tis all too plain, if you see. There's the aftermath that shows the poor fellow dropped from a fair height right there, so it is.
What? No.
But it can't be, it's all...
Lies! My fellow jury members, I think we can all agree that this is clear proof of the defendant's innocence, can't we?
I believe we can, yes, sir. So, I thought they could pull the wool over my eyes, did they?
They almost did, and they would have if it weren't for me, so, you know. But also, they're about to do it again, because I still don't, I think this is only further proof that it was Magnus McGillicuddy.
I won't tolerate any of the guild's characters being sullied with blood. I won't tolerate it.
Oh, that's what set you off. Not the fact that someone was murdered, but the fact that someone sullied the tarnished wood of the omnibus. That's what set you off.
Oh, I always knew that nice gentleman who gave us that delightful part couldn't have done such a thing.
Except about an hour ago when you thought he could have.
On three then, everyone. 1, 2.
Okay, she doesn't need to.
Objection.
She didn't need to. The second juror was lifting her hand up to smack the thing, but her vote was already for not guilty, so there's no point for her doing that. A chilling performance, Mr. McGilded.
Oh, and what would you be referring to there now, Lord Van Zeeks?
A bloodstain on the frame of the skylight? Such evidence is null and void.
What? Why?
For one extremely simple reason. That smear of blood never existed.
What are you talking about? It's there for all to see, and it's clearly blood.
Objection.
I personally attended Scotland Yard's investigation of the omnibus. The officers involved went over the carriage with a fine-tooth comb. So I can state with absolute surety, no such smear of blood existed in the carriage. At least, not until this trial began.
But
Are you suggesting, Lord Van Zeeks, that this stain of blood was...
Fabricated, my lord? Yes, and while this court has been in session.
what a palaver! I must say, I didn't expect such good reasoning from a prosecutor of your standing, Lord Van Zeeks. But I'm Magnus McGilded, a fellow known all over the capital for his fine contributions to public life. I don't take kindly to slander, and I'll fight it to the bitter end. Even if it's rolling off the tongue of the Reaper of the Bailey.
Mr. McGilded,
I realize that this is your first appearance in court as the accused. However, I am well aware of your involvement behind the scenes in a great many affairs of dubious nature. You're very adept when it comes to avoiding getting your own hands dirty. And each time it happens that a case you're involved in is investigated, you adapt the facts.
Adapt the facts? What does that even mean?
Use your imagination, Rinosuke. What do you think it means? When you wield a fortune the size of Mr. McGilded's, however ill-gotten it may be, nothing is impossible, including these newfound liquid physics. Have you seen our new liquid physics? They're quite extravagant. Let me show you our liquid physics. Tampering with evidence, manipulating the scene of a crime, bribing witnesses. I toast your ability to concoct the most convenient of stories, sir.
Tut tut, Lord Van Zieks. This will not do, to be sure. Will it now, counsel? Oh, no. I think it's fair to say, this does all sound like a rather far-fetched excuse by a desperate man.
Of the two of us, who's more desperate right now? Or of the two of you, who's more desperate right now?
The blood on the skylight didn't exist, you say? But, if you allow cast your minds back, is it not true that the omnibus there has been in the courtroom the entire time? How could anyone possibly put it? Did you just forget about the smoke grenade that went off? How could you possibly say that with a straight face and expect us to believe it? A smoke grenade literally went off in the damn room. It's true. The omnibus has been in full view the entire time the court has been in session.
My learned friend. Here's to hearing, in your own words, your thoughts.
As you wish. Could someone have tampered with the omnibus during this trial? If you're asking me, I think it could have been possible. As a defense lawyer, it's my job to advocate for the defendant as best I can. But still, I feel as though there's something even more important at stake here.
Seen this movie before.
There is no evidence to suggest the defendant did as my learned friend suggests. However, in terms of having the opportunity to carry out the alleged tampering, there is one possibility. Oh?
Good gracious. Explain yourself, counsel. Yes, there is. It seems my learned Nipponese friend has no intention of running from this deceit. Deceit?
I'm sure everyone still remembers clearly the recess that we were forced to take. As a result of the smoke grenade fired by the witness currently in the stand, Mr. Gina Lestrade. The courtroom was filled with smoke. Everyone was thrown into confusion. All of us were made to leave this chamber. In that brief interval, under the veil of smoke and in all the chaos, it could have been possible to steal inside the omnibus. Are you wise?
Yeah, you wouldn't be freaking out if you were...
What are you trying to pull, you rotten, feckless gouger? Feckless gouger? You're supposed to be defending me! This is a wicked plot! This is a plot to undermine me, so it is!
Says the man who might have had a wicked plot to murder someone. Whatever you think this is, it changes nothing. The facts are the same. After this courtroom was evacuated earlier as a result of the smoke grenade, a number of inconsistencies materialized in relation to the omnibus. Inconsistencies such as? To start with, the storage compartment underneath the rear passenger seat. When the police investigated the omnibus, this compartment was full of the driver's items. Secondly, we have the smear of blood on the edge of the skylight, as I have said that it was not present at the start of the trial this morning. Unfortunately, Lord Van Zieks, no one is able to corroborate your claims. I am.
That's true. When the omnibus was first wheeled out, both the storage compartment and the skylight were shut.
Yeah, but there's one thing that everyone should be able to see, which is the giant spot of the blood on the floor. Accordingly, I'm afraid to say, we cannot establish with any certainty if this evidence is the result of tampering or not.
Yes, but okay, then forget about both those things. Just look at the giant splotch of blood on the floor. What do you think? Sorry? About the omnibus. Is there anything else unusual about the omnibus?
I have an inkling there might be something else.
My lord.
Yes, counsel?
There is one further inconsistency. A mark that surely could not have been present at the start of the trial.
What?
What in the devil's name are you going to say now? If you dare to betray me, you little...
Silence, McGilded. The court awaits the defense's clarification.
This trial keeps swinging one way and then the other. I have no idea what's the truth and what's deception. What am I supposed to believe here?
I shall have to ask you to elaborate, counsel.
Where exactly is Legend Mike? Should be clear as day. It's the big-ass splotch of blood on the floor. That's a very noticeably different material than the dry blood on the couch. Or on the seat.
If we consider that the victim fell through the skylight onto the floor of the cabin, you would certainly expect to find signs of blood where he landed. But as far as I recall, this bloodstain on the cabin floor was not there when the omnibus was first brought into the courtroom.
Good lord. Yes, I do believe you're correct, counsel. Well said. Although, as advocate for the defense, one might say that it was a very careless slip of the tongue.
And I'm in it for the truth, pal. Sorry if you're only in it to be a prosecutor, but I'm in it to find the truth. I have been since the beginning.
I believe that bloodstain on the floor is a decisive piece of evidence. But if the question of whether the evidence is genuine, or whether it was unlawfully fabricated by someone, I feel compelled to admit that there's at least a possibility that the evidence is fake.
Yeah, he's freaking out.
This trial is over! Mr. McGilded, I have done everything I possibly can to cooperate with the court, but 'tis all over now.
Yeah, this is not the breakdown of an innocent man.
But you're the defendant. 'Tis over, I tell ye! Memory, recollection, what people think they saw, 'tis all nonsense. Facts are what counts, and the fact is, that bloodstain is there, now! Well, over the course of this desperate trial, long and extremely drawn out as it has been, that good-for-nothing Reaper of the Bailey has failed to present any decisive evidence at all.
Are you kidding me? What?
I'm scandalized, so I am. I'd thought better of Lord Van Zeeks. Well, my lord?
I must concur with the defendant.
What? What? What?
At this moment in time, the particular bloodstain in question is very much in existence. And in the absence of any credible method in which to prove its alleged previous non-existence,
Are you kidding me? What?
I regret to say that it would be improper for this trial to continue.
Your lordship can't be serious.
Lord Van Zeeks, what is your position?
The prosecution, my lord, has no further witnesses or evidence to present.
Are you kidding me? What?
Very well. In that case, I believe we have explored every possible avenue in the matter.
Wait, call Scotland Yard to the stand. Have them testify. They would know that it wasn't What? Are you kidding me?
As a formality, I am of course obliged to confirm with the defense first.
What? What formality? As things stand at the moment, it would seem that Mr. McGilded will be found not guilty. Yes, which would mean we've won. Is that really the right outcome here? Is it really over for the trial to come to an end now with all these unexplained inconsistencies?
Counsel for the defense, your closing statement, please.
Yes, wait, did he ask for closing arguments? Oh no. No, no more.
Yes, my lord. The defense believes the defendant could be guilty. Obviously. I am here in this courtroom today to advocate for the defense of my client, Mr. McGilded. However, at this moment in time, I cannot in all good conscience attest fully to the defendant's innocence.
What are you saying, man?
Without any question, there is no conclusive evidence to prove that the defendant is guilty. However, there is also no conclusive evidence to prove that he is innocent.
Good gracious me. Order, order. This is unprecedented behavior, counsel. A defense lawyer calling the accused innocent into question? Are you of sound mind?
Oh, it was a grand decision to appoint you as my lawyer, so it was. A grand decision. What? I must say, I didn't expect such an exciting spectacle at the end there, but still. Here, please play my game on the 3DS. Have this for your troubles. Your job here is done, fella, and some fine work ye have done, ye have. What do you mean? 'Tis just as the right honourable gentleman so succinctly put it afore. The trial can't go on anymore. Just literally call Scotland Yard to the stand. Pick up a phone and ring and get Scotland Yard on the horn. And in your closing statement there was, how did he put it now? Nothing more than a formality.
Are you can't be serious. What?
But that doesn't matter. We have a jury. That literally doesn't matter. The jury's here. None of this matters. In the original trilogy, you might be able to get away with this because at that point it's just a judge and you can't do it without evidence. But the whole point of a damn jury is that they can look past this. They'd be able to see. Everyone in this room has the memory, so it doesn't matter if they can't prove it because the jury can just go, hey, you're guilty, buddy, and then send the flames into the guilty pot. And then all the judges do is say, well, the jury made the decision. I guess the trial's over now. You're guilty. Are you kidding me?
Was the evidence we've seen genuine or was it fake?
His lordship would be fuming, and any unsightly rubbish should be disposed of promptly, as I said.
Are you serious? Do you have this little faith in your memories? What?
Now that proceedings have unfolded in this way, I am compelled to declare a premature end to this.
What? Are you kidding me?
Furthermore, the court must accept the defendant's plea.
I take you kindly, my lord.
I hereby pronounce the verdict of this court.
But we still haven't determined if the bloodstain in the omnibus is genuine or not. We don't know if the witnesses are telling the truth or a pack of lies. We have no idea about the truth.
Lord Van Zeeks,
My lord.
the case made by the prosecution was flawed, plain and simple. If indeed the omnibus presented as evidence was tampered with, the prosecution is at fault for allowing such a disgraceful version of justice to take place.
What? Hey, literally the crime scene was tampered with. That would implicate the defendant as being guilty. Therefore, the logical next step is to blame the prosecution for letting the crime scene be tampered with. What? What are you talking about? What is happening right now? What? But wait. When we were something or other about something, when we were evacuated from the courtroom, Lord Van Zeeks ordered the evidence to be secured.
I'm afraid the prosecution cannot shun responsibility in this matter.
It's so unfair.
The culpability of the defendant has not, at the present time, been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to proffer judgment.
What? They're literally there to proffer judgment. What is happening?
And as for you, my dear fellow, I couldn't have asked for a better defense.
Do you mean to tell me this has all been a grand waste of time?
'Tis the law of the land, my good man. If you'd like to pursue this matter further, you can always go ahead and try to change the law.
Magnus McGilded.
Good grief, you've more to say to me, have you?
Just one thing, a warning. This is far from over.
Well, something to be looking forward to then.
I hereby pronounce the defendant, Mr. Magnus McGilded.
Are you kidding me? What is happening right now? What just happened? I can't, I am so lost right now. I have a million questions. What is happening? With the courtroom in pandemonium for the second time today, that day the judge delivered his verdict, and my first ever trial in Great Britain came to an abrupt end, with the defendant being found not guilty, ostensibly a victory for us. Oh, this damn will not end right there. Don't you dare end right there. Don't you dare it. Good. Yeah, you keep turning those cogs. Okay, good. I thought it was gonna end right there. February 18th, 5:14 p.m., the Old Bailey defendant's antechamber.
That certainly was a long trial. Yes, it was. Your first ever trial on foreign soil, and your first victory. It was a wonderful performance. My heartfelt congratulations.
And to you, Mr. Sato, thank you for your assistance. I suppose we should be happy. The trouble is, we're still completely in the dark about what actually happened.
Well, we didn't have enough time, But isn't it wrong? I mean, who was actually responsible for Mr. Mason's death? We don't even know that. The sole aim of the defense is to obtain a verdict that exonerates the defendant. You carried out your duty to perfection. Aye, that you did! I hate your smug face. Mr. McGill did. And that girl is with him too. Well, it seems the stories are true. Oh, what stories? About the 6 enormous fireworks they do be letting off when there's a verdict of not guilty. I'm sure you must have seen them by now. Spectacular, wouldn't you say? Yes, definitely. I heard it was a sight to behold, and to be sure it was. And I viewed to tank, I suppose, for having an opportunity to see it. Wahahaha! Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not sure I really did anything. What on earth are you saying, fella? How did I walk out of there a free man, then? I don't think it was so much the thanks to me as down to your planning. You're a straight-talking fella, aren't you? I must say, you had me astray in the head there once or twice. But you're young and headstrong. Wahahaha! Ah, 'tis water under the bridge. Congratulations, Mr. McGilded, on having your name cleared, but nothing's resolved. There's only one thing that matters to me. Oh, I. They've all seen that I didn't do that odious and absurd deed. 'Tis grand, is it not? I suppose it is. Now the fine fellows of Scotland Yard can take matters in hand and sort out any wee details. Let us see it for what it is. They'll get to the truth. I hope to God they do. I've absolute faith in them, so I have. After all, I do provide a good number of their wages with all the taxes I pay. Wahahaha! It's not that funny. So then, as we agreed beforehand, 1,000 guineas for your troubles, fella. Oh, no, I couldn't possibly accept that much. Ha! Bewist! You are humble people, are you? You from the East? Well, if you insist. Please play this game on the 3DS, but have this to know and all. You deserve a reward.
Mr. Magnus McGilded. Everything is ready, sir. If you'd like to follow me into the courtroom.
Into the courtroom? What's this, officer? That's sooner than I was led to believe.
I was on inconvenience, sir. There were some changes to the schedule.
Well, I must be making tracks now. 'Tis time for the inspection. Sorry? What inspection? They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I've asked if I could be present for it myself. Oh, did you now? Oh, how wonderful. How lovely for you. They're going to examine it again? Now? After the trial's over? Naturally, I'm under no obligation to take part in any more of this matter now. But as an upstanding member of the Learned Society, I do my best to help wherever I can tamper with evidence. Do whatever's best for society, of course. 'Tis a gentleman's duty, so it is. So then, fare thee well. It was an absolute pleasure meeting you. I hope you have a whale of a time while you're studying here in Great Britain. And there he goes, a free man. Now, what do you have to say? I forgot you was here too. Oh, don't stop it with a smoke gun. Not the smoke gun again. You know, I feel like the amount of time it takes you to load that thing, we probably could have run away by now. Or maybe yanked that thing out of your hands. Don't move! Well, as I want to say, get a move on. She really does take forever to load that thing. Mr. Lestrade, would you mind putting that thing down? You're a grown-up. Sorry? I ain't all grown-ups. Okay, if you remove the apostrophe, that's a completely different sentence. Hi there.
Naughty running off like that.
Is this some kind of picnic? What? Who's this little girl now?
And taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Ha!
What?
Oh, do you want to play? You won't beat me.
Excuse me, but who are you?
Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine.
The inventor? You're like 3 years old.
Well, normal smoke grenades are so dull, don't you agree? White, and more white. If you have to be shrouded in smoke, it could at least be a pretty color, I thought to myself.
Do we have to be shrouded in smoke, though? At all?
I just took my eyes off it for a moment whilst I was changing it onto a different omnibus, and she pinched it. Luckily, I fitted it with a telegraphic beacon.
What's it? What? I have no idea what this girl is talking about.
Anyway, you're coming with me now, back to my laboratory. What for? To apologize, of course, silly, to my technician.
What? You mean say sorry?
You must say sorry when you've done something wrong. Surely an adult has told you that before.
An adult?
I don't listen to no adults. Come along then, follow me. Fine, have it your way. Oh, good, you see, I knew you want to do the right thing in the end.
I'm very sure that what she wants is not to get shot by that massive gun of yours.
We'll be leaving now then. Bye-bye. I'm so sorry for all the fuss.
What is happening? She was a lively one. What the hell happened? What has been the last 10 minutes of my life? Well, do you think perhaps we ought to be on our way now too? Yes, you're right, but where to? Oh, we haven't had time to find a place to stay. No sooner had we arrived in London than we had to rush here. All our traveling cases are still with the bailiff. I was originally planning to spend today in search of lodgings, but at this late hour in the day, I'm afraid we may be out of luck. Don't worry though, I have a I swear to God, if your plan is to go to Airlock Sholmes, I swear to God. If worst comes to worst, I've heard of a lovely park where we could spend the night. Please tell me you don't think I'm a gilded park. Okay, I thought for sure a plan was gonna be, oh, you know what? The great Airlock Sholmes lives here. I'd be like, oh please, just kill me now. I know it may be a little chilly this time of year, but our youthfulness will see us through. I don't think that matters. I think sleeping in the middle of a park in the dead of the night when it's freezing out might just bring anyone to their knees regardless of how old they are. I'm not so sure about that. I think a midwinter London night will freeze a young person's soul just as easily as an elderly one. That's what I said.
Oh dear, that doesn't sound agreeable.
Now I'm starting to regret turning Mr. McGilded down. That 1,000 guineas would have paid for a lovely warm room or mansion. And so, the trial to determine my worthiness for the study tour was over by the end of our first day in London. However, as we were soon to learn, there were more trying times ahead. Just as the Reaper of the Bailey had warned, the case was far from over. Is that the end? Oh, my dear lord.
What's going on? Get the fire brigade! Water! Bring water, quick!
What the hell?
How did this happen? I don't know, sir. By the time I got here, it was already engulfed. No one was supposed to be allowed in here before we started investigating. No. Oh, good God. There's someone in there. This can't be.
Prediction. Magnus is in there, and someone who was not happy with the verdicts set the omnibus on fire. What is happening? What is this game? What just? I am at a loss for words. Okay, first things first. Let's clear the air right now. I said earlier in the case that I was worried that they might be going down the route of Farewell My Turnabout. Let's be clear, they didn't do that. They didn't. It wasn't like Turnabout Revolution was a one-for-one rip of what happened in Farewell My Turnabout with using Maya as a hostage. One for one, it was exactly what they did there. This is not the same thing. This is not the same battle of moral. They tried to hit on it a little bit. It was clearly kind of referring to it, alluding to it, insinuating it. Referencing it with the whole what's the morally right choice to make here in this situation, but it wasn't a one-for-one rip. So what I'm about to say does not stem from me saying, oh, it was just like Farewell My Turnabout. That's not what I'm saying here at all. But that case, they really, okay, so up until the last 20 or so minutes, it was great. It wasn't a top tier. I wouldn't put it in top tier or anything, but it was still a pretty great case up until that point. The new mechanics were interesting. The introduction of the prosecutor was cool. The opening cutscene where they touched down in London for the first time and you just see just optimistic, pure, unbridled joy of exploring a new location for the first time. The introduction of the Justice Minister, really just the witnesses in general. Like I said, the summation examination. Everything that they, by the way, that name really rolls off the tongue really nicely. Basically, everything they did throughout this entire trial, the pacing of it was really, really, really solid. just from start to finish, I was a big fan of everything until the final 20 minutes, at which point they just lost me completely. I'll straight up admit it. They lost me completely at the end there. Because, like, okay, so first things first, call Scotland Yard, get them up on the stand, and say, hey, was this bloodstain here when you guys examined it? And then they'd all go, no, obviously not. What the hell happened here? Second off, even if you can't do that, the point of a jury... Okay, no, actually, I'll stay up for that. Second off, anyone with a pair of functioning eyeballs should be able to look at those those 3 bloodstains and say, okay, this one, which we know was there at the time of the crime, or at the time of the murder, has dried up since then, but this bloodstain is very clearly fresh. So, clearly one of them is more recent than the other, despite the fact that if it was actually there at the time of the incident, it clearly shouldn't have been there. 3, I guess third and final would be, even disregarding all of that, with all, like, the point of the jury, the reason why they're there is so that, like, they can be the human element of it. Like, they can be the human element that's there to be like, okay, I can see through your BS. I can weave, we can look past the logistics, not logistics. We can look past the minutia of your, like, your guidelines or whatever, and say, like, look at it as a reasonable, everyday person and be like, hey, you're clearly guilty. So, like, they should have been able to pass their judgment as guilty anyway, but they just weren't allowed to for some reason. Why? Like, I just don't understand. There's so many things you could have done. You could have delayed the trial another day to get Scotland Yard there. Could have delayed another day to inspect the actual blood. Like, why did the trial have to end today? Why did it end today? I don't get that. Why did the trial have to end today? I don't get that. That was just... I don't follow what happened. Because as it stands, what happened, at least what we think happened with the crime, like, it all holds up logically. But where I've stopped following along is how we got from clearly he did this to, well, I guess we can't convict him, so he's innocent. That doesn't track. They should have delayed there's no reason why they couldn't have delayed the trial another day to get more evidence or call another witness or anything. I don't understand what happened there. This doesn't make any sense. They shouldn't... Like, okay, just so we're clear, obviously they're gonna continue this further, be it in case 4 or case 5, obviously they're gonna elaborate further on why I'm gonna guess that probably Justice Minister is in on whatever conspiracy's going on behind the scenes, and he needed us to prove him innocent because he needed us to get him off the hook to further this conspiracy or whatever. They're gonna elaborate further on what Mr. McGillicuddy's motivations are, what's the deal with Gina Lestrade. They're gonna elaborate on all that further, I'm sure. I'm not criticizing the fact that they've left plot points unresolved. I'm not criticizing that. I'm not at all criticizing that. I know that they're going to elaborate on it further in the game. I do not misconstrue my words. I know that they're probably going to do that later in the game. The problem that I'm highlighting is that it doesn't make any sense as to why the trial should have ended. It should not have ended the way that it did. There's no reason at all that he should have gotten away with a not guilty verdict. That makes no sense. They really can't stick the landing. Like, so, the first case was great. First case, on par with some of the top tier cases in Ace Attorney history. Case 2 was kind of underwhelming, and Case 3 was really good until that final section where it just couldn't stick the landing. Like, I don't know, man. It kind of feels like it kind of feels like we haven't gotten a proper Ace Attorney case yet, which I know sounds weird, but think about it. We had the first case, which, yeah, that's a solid first case where it has your typical introduction for an Ace Attorney game. That's fine. Case 2 was entirely an investigation with no trial to complement it, and Case 3 was entirely trial with no investigation to complement it, which is fine for the first case, because the whole point of the first case is to throw you into the action and get you into the rhythm to get you excited for the rest of the game. It's supposed to be like the cold open that gets you hooked for the rest of it. But not the third case. Like, the whole premise of Ace Attorney is that it's balanced between you investigate, then you go to trial, you investigate, you go to trial. be it in over the course of 2 days or 3 days. You investigate, you trial. Or you can even do a magical turnabout and do it over the course of 1 day. But there's always supposed to be the balance of you investigate the crime scene, you get a feeling for what happened, you talk to people, you get a feel for the situation, then you apply that knowledge in the courtroom setting and see the information clash and come to a resolution. And then you do a balancing act between going to investigation, the trial, and back and forth, usually around twice, and then you reach your resolution. But over the past 2 cases, we've only ever gotten half the experience. We've either gotten an entirely investigation or entirely a trial. It feels like we haven't really gotten a proper Ace Attorney case yet. It just feels like we're getting half of what it should be for both instances. I don't know, man. I mean, like, I didn't hate the case. I'd still say that overall it was still a good case. It wasn't it wasn't abhorrent. It's just that instead of being great, it's been knocked down to the good tier because of that ending. And just overall, like, the game as a whole so far had a strong opening, but cases 2 and 3 just feel like they're missing half of the core Ace Attorney experience. I mean, and again, in case anyone's gonna say something about another series that was brought up, I said from the outset that if this game is as good as Justice for All, which is I consider to be a mediocre game, I'll be content, because a mediocre Ace Attorney game is still 1,000 times better than the average creation that comes out of that other series that shall remain nameless. So I'm still not pissed with my purchase. I'm still having a good time. As you heard today, I had a blast laughing at that stupid clip-clop animation. The reveals were great. Like, up until that ending, it was still a solid ride. But I'm just thinking about it all, like, thinking about how they couldn't stick the landing, just thinking about the game in general. It just feels like we haven't really gotten to the core of we haven't gotten to a proper Ace Attorney case yet. So I'm just, I'm still optimistic for the future. I'm hoping the cases 4 and 5 will be great. But so far, we haven't hit the moment where I think, wow, that was awesome. That was an outstanding case, or like that felt like a proper Ace Attorney thing. It just kind of feels like we're not getting the full package of what we would normally expect from a case yet. I don't know if I'm explaining myself properly. Let me know what your thoughts are in this case. I feel like I'm just rambling and repeating myself at this point, so I'm just gonna end things here. In summary, the case was overall good with a terrible ending. And I'm optimistic for the remaining cases, even though so far I just feel like we haven't really gotten a proper full Ace Attorney case with both halves of the experience. But I'm still hoping for the remaining cases to be good. So that'll be it for now. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next time to catch you all tomorrow for some more of the Great Ace Attorney adventures. Goodbye.